I used to own Frederick's Photography, and that's where most people would remember me from. Uh, but I sold that about 10 years ago, and I tried retirement, I guess. I still worked for the business for 5 years. Um, and then I thought need to do more than I need to do something. So that's when we decided to open the bookstore. Um, it's a little more involved than that, but we had this space rented to somebody else here that I bought the building, and they moved out, and it sat empty. And I was like, well, I don't have anybody to rent the building, and I don't have anything to do, so let's figure out what we can do with this space. So little did I know that I'd be a bookstore and record store owner. So,
Why did you choose both records and books?
well, honestly, it's a small town, it's a small business, and the internet seems to win a lot of people in their shopping money. So you needed something more than just books, I think, to make it work. You needed something more than just records. So the two actually go hand in hand, and it's been a good experience for 10 years. We've been at it almost. It'll be this February, so I'd say you can consider that a successful business.
So you play a lot of music in your store,
Oh
though.
yeah.
So you're very much a music lover. Are you
Yes.
just as much of a music lover as books lover?
Good question, and actually I get that question all the time. I do read, however, I listen to music easily 8 hours plus a day. I don't read 8 hours a day. I'll read here and there. So music is my first love. Uh, but I've also had books where I could not put it down and couldn't wait to get it back in my hands to read. So I get the love of books, but my love of music is just a little higher.
Yeah. What would you say your favorite book is, and what is your favorite album?
How about, okay, I like reading rock biographies. And it's funny you should mention that because one of, if not my favorite book that I read was of Ozzy Osbourne. And it was it was a very funny read. It was also, just knowing his life story from the beginning. It's like I love a success story. He grew up with not a whole lot going for him. He didn't have a family with money, but he had a dream and a desire. And I love books that talk about somebody's desire that they just know in their heart that's what they want to do, and end up being a very successful singer who doesn't know Ozzy Osbourne. And then on my favorite albums, oh my gosh, I mean, Aerosmith is my number one band, and I've always said that probably the Aerosmith Rocks album was my favorite, but there's so many good ones, it's hard to narrow it down to one, but if I had to, it would be Aerosmith Rocks.
What would you say the main majority of your customers come in for when it comes to music? Is there a specific genre that people come in looking for, or do you have a huge variety of kinds?
It's a good variety. I would say a lot of people really lean toward, or say the best music came from, say, the 60s when the Beatles came to America, and anything from the 60s to the mid 90s is where I focus most of my inventory. But with that said, we do carry a lot of the newer artists as well. You have to carry Taylor Swift. It's a must, along with other rap artists. I'm not a big rap person, but it sells, so we do carry that. So yeah, I think we're known mostly, not mostly, but known definitely for our classic rock era.
What's it like to be a small business in kind of a small town?
I mean, I know if I was in Fort Wayne, this place would easily double its business, but you're probably looking at double the rent. And I just born and raised here. Huntington's always been my hometown, and I get a lot of people that come in and say, "We're so glad you're here," and it makes you feel good that people appreciate you having this business.
Do you have a lot of repeat customers?
Yes, we do. I get reports that show every month on the percent of repeat and then the new customers. And surprisingly, we still get new customers all the time. A decent percent, maybe 40%, but 60% are regulars or something like that. You know, it fluctuates month to month.
I've been in here when customers have come in and you've constantly had like a conversation that seems to just jump back into a place, like you've known them for a very long time. Is that something that you hold to great value with you?
I do. Like, just for example, yesterday, an old neighbor that moved to Dallas was in town, and had I not had the store, who knows if he would have, if we would have met up. But I've old employees from my Frederick's years, when they come to town to visit their family, they know this is a place where they can come see me, and so there's a lot of, you know, I love what I do, and I love the social part of the business. I'm very social, so it's nice to see people that you may not have seen, and then I've met a lot of really great people. I've made friends out of some of the customers. Matter of fact, one particular guy who actually covers my store occasionally, I graduated with both of his parents. So he's 20 years younger than me, yet we get together, we'll do things occasionally, and yet, you know, it's just, you know, it's fun to hang out with these people that you would never have met if it wasn't for the business.
Mm-hmm. So is there something, a special memory that comes to mind owning the store? Like, when you opened the store for the first day, was that a big thing for you, or was it scary, or was there a moment in the middle where you're like, oh, I really like this?
You were talking 10 years ago. I remember when we first opened, there was a lot of curious people that had come into our store to check it out. And I might have said this earlier, but I've learned a lot in those 10 years. There's stuff that we carried that I realized we should not have had these books in the first place. We didn't start out with records. That came along about within the first year. It slowly came on and became a big part of our business. Although we knew we were going to offer records, we just wanted to get the store open and start creating some income. So I'm losing my train of thought here. I guess, like, we would say that some people that came in early on and had their opinion made, and never came back because of the selection, they need to come back, because we have got some of the most popular books now that we found this bookseller, and it's really helped our business, and we've learned a lot. We know what to carry, what not to carry. We've taken away things, and we've expanded areas that we needed to have more space for. So that was always a learning process, but I like a challenge, and this was a challenge, more so than the photography. That was a challenge too, but this one was a bigger challenge.
What would you say the biggest difference between you as a bookseller and, say, Barnes & Noble? Because Barnes & Noble carries records and music and books. What's the biggest difference for you?
Well, the big difference is on our books, they're all used. So if you're going to buy a book there, it's going to be a lot more expensive, you know. The music part, I'm not sure how much they're into the music part, but I'll have a feeling that we have a lot more vinyl options than they do, as well as Walmart and Targets. These stores carry some, but we have a larger selection of both new and used. So, I mean, Barnes & Noble is a great place. It's huge, and they sell a lot of nice books, but you're going to pay the full, you know, the premium price, where here you can get them for half that price.
What do you think is the biggest thing you want your customers to feel when they walk through the doors?
Well, welcomed is the first thing. You know, like I say, I'm a people person. I don't know a stranger. And what I like about this store is it draws all walks of people. You got your little kids, you've got people that are in their 90s that's their entertainment is reading, and you got everything in between, and it's just a joy to see all these people, and what I really, really like is seeing a 12 or 13-year-old buy their first album. And it's something like the Beatles. I just think that's so neat that music is just going to keep living on. So there's a lot of things about the job that I don't even want to use the word job. I don't get up and think, oh, I got to go to work. I just like, it's just every day's different, and you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to come in the door as far as people bringing stuff to us to sell or trade. So it's always something new every day.
So a lot of your customers bring books in. How does that work? Do they just come in and...
Yeah, I mean, they'll bring in books, and we do pick through the ones that we know we can sell. A lot of times if we don't know the book, we'll ask the customer, was this one you read? Did you like it? And then get a feel for, is this one that we think we can resell? So it's always, I think, who knows about every book out there? There's so many. And even 10 years in it, I've got 20% of the knowledge, basically. It's so broad.
Do you find a huge connection having a small bookstore within downtown Huntington with other business owners?
As far as locally around here, mm-hmm. I know that, like the lady that we spoke with earlier, the Main Street lady, and then other people, they say this store needs to be here. It's unique. And they just think it's an anchor to the downtown, which, I don't look at it like that. I just come into work and do my job, but I guess other people see it as, when you go to the big mall and you have the big name stores there, and this is just a small town, and they feel like this is one of the anchors of the little town, so it's a kind of nice compliment.
Yeah, must make you feel pretty good.
Yep, it does.
Did you feel that same way in photography?
Yes, I just like this store, all I ever wanted to do is learn and improve by just practice. In photography, it was practice, and then here it's just knowing what people want and then adjusting accordingly. So this is a true story. When I opened this store, I used to read nonfiction. That's all I read is nonfiction, whether it's biography, whether it's World War II, whether it's an actor that I like. That's what I read. I don't read fiction. Most people read fiction. And so when I opened the store, I did not know who James Patterson was. This is the truth. I knew Danielle Steele. I don't know why. Must have been a friend's mom had a whole bunch on a shelf. But that's all I could say. If someone had to tell me 10 years ago, name an author, Danielle Steele would be the first thing I'd say. And after that, I'd be like, let me think about that. I'd have to go grab a book and say, oh, here's one. So I really didn't know a lot about books. I read, but again, when you're reading a World War II book, you're probably going to get different authors every time. You don't have like the James Pattersons, the Daniel Steeles, Colleen Hoovers. You don't have these people that Nora Roberts that write hundreds of books. So yeah, I learned a lot. But music, I will say with music, I thought I could pull my weight, and I still feel like when I did start selling it that I knew enough, but boy, I learned a lot. And I've learned a lot from people younger than me that just know a little bit, and I've learned just neat little things about album art and bands, how the bass player went to this band, and things that you might catch on YouTube occasionally. But when it comes to the bands that I really like, I knew the history. But I didn't know all the bands, but I've been learning, and I love it,
So that's kind of cool that you get to kind of learn
the history of the band, how they came to be. Oh my gosh, Peter Frampton from used to play in Humble Pie. I would have never known that, So just little things, and then the Boston album, the debut album. I never knew that if you looked at the artwork, it looks like UFOs. You turn the album upside down, and it's actually guitars that an artist made upside down to look like UFOs. Little things that just you'd never know.
That's so cool.
And I like sharing that with people. Just things that I learned, and then show them, and like, oh, I never knew that.
Do you find that conversation turns into more as the customer comes back? And you seem to have repeating customers the way that you talk.
Yeah.
Too, especially the young man that was in here today. You're helping find some records for him.
Oh, he's one of those guys that for a while was coming in weekly, and he would buy a lot. And so someone like that I consider VIP. So in his case, I said, hey, come here. I took him to the back and said, here's about 100 albums I just got in. And then he was, it makes them feel special. And I want them to feel special because those people that are coming in and as regulars, they're the reasons my doors are open, So yeah, he's I would say a new customer in the sense of within the last year. And so, it's kind of cool that we get to know each other and just find out what he likes music-wise, which is a lot of what I like, which is why we have easy to have conversations when you enjoy the same stuff.
Very cool. So what do you think, just to kind of wrap up with the last two questions, what is the legacy you want to leave behind here in Huntington?
Well, I guess, I'm born and raised here, and I guess that I'd like for people to say that, he was a good guy, and if they want to say I was a good businessman, that's great, but I'd rather be known as he's a good guy.
So, where can people find you?
Well, Facebook for the business. I am on Instagram as well, but we don't post as frequent on Instagram. They can find me here Wednesday through Saturdays. I'm closed Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays. Occasionally I'll have somebody cover a day or two when I want to take a trip. But yeah, you can find me here 4 days a week.
What's your times?
The Wednesday through Friday is 10 to 5, and Saturday's 10 to 4.
Perfect. I'll let
That's
you
a
go.
wrap.